bọ́jọ́ bá pẹ́ títí ọjọ́ àpín o bọ́nà bá jìnnà jìnnà àdópin o àti sáré àdópin aré àmàtìjìyà àdópin ìyá o àti súnsún àti kan ògiri ó má ti gbẹ̀yìn kọ́ lọ́tẹ̀ ìmọ̀ o bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o.
ilé òní gbóná kárẹ̀ nu omi mọ́lé ayé òní kóró kálọ̀ bí bá ọ̀run wò láyé náà la ó wà títà ó fi ṣẹ́gun lójú àwọn ọlọ́tẹ̀ ẹkún àkọjá òkun ajímọ́lẹ̀ fáwa ọmọ Yorùbá ọjọ́ ayọ̀ súnmọ́lé o.
láéláé kan bá ó mà di láéláé kan bá Yorùbá ò ní dọ̀bálẹ̀ ẹ̀fẹ́ nìkan ó di gbẹ̀yìn kan lọ́tẹ̀ ìmọ̀ o.
yé ẹ dìde dìde bí ológun ẹ bá jàgà sílẹ̀ o ẹ rántí àtọmọdọ́mọ kò ní sún wá kò ní rẹ̀ wá bá ó fi ṣẹ́gun tẹni tó dé ó sàn ju ẹni tí rẹ̀ ń bọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ò ní dídúró kẹ́dúró gbọ̀n kẹ́dúró gbọ̀n kẹ́dúró gbọ̀n gbọ̀n gbọ̀n.
ọmọ Yorùbá o ọmọ Yorùbá o àsìkò tó láti gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa. ìkan bá wọ́pọ̀ ìkan mọ̀lé èrò bá wọ́pọ̀ wọn máa jiyàn ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ̀ kékeré àbí Yorùbá ìbùté ògo. ìkan bá wọ́pọ̀ ìkan mọ̀lé èrò bá wọ́pọ̀ wọn máa jiyàn ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ̀ kékeré àbí Yorùbá ìbùté ògo. 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 àtúntò àlẹ́ pàkó ní bàbá mọ̀gánà bọ́jọ́ bá yọ ẹ̀yẹ kẹ́yẹ kì í ké gbogbo ẹ̀yẹ mọ́ pàkánrin kése ní kẹ́yẹkẹ́yẹ wọn lè ké mọ́ orí àti àlà nídìí ẹ̀ súnmọ́ bí ẹ̀ wá kó tí ìgbéyàwó rọ̀. Fẹ́mi ló ní kẹ́sí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko lẹ́yìn òdì pé já wálé o ilé là á wá torí sùn tí ò wálé lódùn rẹ̀ níyàn. àgbàdo tí ò wálé dùn rẹ̀ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yangàn ni ẹ wálé o ilé ìbò gan la wá náà. Yorubanation yìí náà ní Fẹ́mi ní àjìgìrì ká gbàrà wàhálẹ̀ lóko ẹrú. Fẹ́mi ní àfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká gbélé bàbá wa lárugẹ ni torí náání òun wà nílà náání. ìránṣẹ́ kìtà nínà ní èpògì láyé ọjọ́ òun Yorubanation ló lè ṣe o gbogbo ọmọ kó o tó.
mo mà kó nílé mo kálejò mo kí lọ́kùnrin bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí lóbìnrin mo kí ọmọdé mo kí àgbàlagbà mo kí ládéládé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mo kí lóyèlóyè ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mo súnmọ́ bá níwọ̀n ẹgbẹ̀fà mo súnmọ́ bá níwọ̀n ẹgbẹ̀je mo jìnnà sọ́ba níwọ̀n ẹgbẹ̀fà torí pé àrọ́bà fi lọ bá ń pa. mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ̀ ń wò mí káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé mo kẹ́yìn tẹ̀ ń wò mí ní Nàìjíríà gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó wà nílùú Nàìjíríà káàkiri tẹ̀ ń wò mí mo kí yín o ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ wà ní àárín erékùṣù Áfíríkà mo kí yín ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ wà ní òkè òkun Amẹ́ríkà ni Canada ni London ni Germany ni Asia countries káàkiri ni kódà láàrin Asia mo yọ Dubai sọ́tọ̀ mo yọ Saudi sọ́tọ̀ torí pé láti bẹ̀ wọ́n máa ń lù mí lọ́gọ̀ ẹnu. Mo kí gbogbo àgbáyé pátápátá tẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá wà o, tẹ́ ti ń wò mí, ojú tẹ́ fi ń wò mí ò ní fọ́, etí tẹ́ sì fi ń gbọ́ wa ò ní di. Ètò yín náà tún rèé o, ètò bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀, òun náà ló mà tún jáde látorí ìkànnì bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ TV. Tó ẹ wá nǹkan fìdílé àbí kẹ́ fìdílé nǹkan o, kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ àjọ jẹ̀gbádùn ọbẹ̀ tuntun tí a tún ṣètà gbé wá lónìí lórí ètò bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ náà ni. Kí síwájú kí n tó máa lọ, ẹ jẹ́ kí n bẹ̀ wá o wípé kájọ kọ́mọ lùbọ́ ló dáa, ẹ jẹ́ àjọ kọ́mọ lùbọ́, ẹ jẹ́ àjọ máa ṣe bí a ti ṣe ń ṣe bọ̀ nínú gbàgede ìmọ̀ channel. Gbogbo ojú tó ń wò mí tí ẹ ò tí ì bá wa subscribe, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń wò mí lórí YouTube tẹ́ ẹ tí subscribe sí channel tuntun tá a wà yìí, bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ TV. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣáàṣì fún wa lórí YouTube, ẹ̀yin sá lọ ṣáàṣì fún bàbá gbàgede live. Tẹ́ bá ti ṣáàṣì fún bàbá gbàgede live, direct ni ó gbé yín lọ sí new channel tá a wà. A sọ pé bàbá gbàgede live torí pé òun gangan la fi register nígbà tá a fẹ́ open channel yìí, but later la padà change orúkọ ẹ̀ sí bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ TV. Ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ bá fẹ́ search fún wa lórí YouTube, ẹ̀yin sá search fún bàbá gbàgede live. À ń sọ eléyìí torí àǹfààní ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tẹ́ máa wò wá lórí Facebook. Tó bá jórí Facebook ni wọ́n ti ń wò wá tó sì fẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí YouTube, ìwọ sá lọ search fún bàbá gbàgede live, ó rí wa ń bẹ̀. Tó bá wá rí wa o, bá wa wo ibi tí wọ́n kọ subscribe sí, sá click lórí ẹ̀. Bákan náà ni pé wo ibi tí wọ́n fi àmì aago sí, ẹsẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ tó bá ti tẹ̀, ìgbàkígbà tí n bá ti ṣe fídíò míì síta, wọ́n máa wá fún ẹ ní notification wípé bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ ó tún ti gbé fídíò míì síta lórí YouTube. Bákan náà ni pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń wo ètò yìí lórí Facebook, ẹ wo ibi tí wọ́n kọ follow sí, kẹ́ follow ẹ. Tẹ́ bá ti ṣe báyìí ẹ ti dára wa nìyẹn, ẹ̀yin náà ti di shareholder nínú gbàgede ìmọ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wá ń wò lórí Facebook, ìkìlọ̀ rèé o, àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n ń gbé fídíò mi ti wá pọ̀ bíbà. Ẹnìkan ni tẹ́lẹ̀ ó ti ń tó bí ẹni 3-4. Tẹ́yin bá sá ti rí tán ti gbé notification wá, tàbí tẹ́ ẹ ṣàlàbápàdé fídíò yìí nínú channel kì channel, ẹ ṣáwòkè ẹ̀. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ti rí gbàgede ìmọ̀ with aláwìyé báyọ̀ ń bẹ̀, ẹ mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe channel mi lẹ́wà, ẹ rọra jáde jẹ́, ẹ má follow wọn o. Kódà kẹ́ ti tẹ follow, ẹ tẹ unfollow kẹ́ yọra yín kúrò ń bẹ̀. Nínú channel kan ṣo lẹ ti lè rí fídíò yìí wò lórí Facebook, òun náà ni gbàgede ìmọ̀ with aláwìyé báyọ̀, péèjì ẹyọ kan tẹ́ ti rí wò ní lórí Facebook. Ibikíbi tẹ́ bá tún ti rí wò, àkọ́kọ́ náà ẹ rìpọ́ọ̀tù ẹ̀, ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì ni pé ẹ yọra yín kúrò ń bẹ̀, wọ́n jí gbé ni. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i, mo kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí. Ẹ wá nǹkan fìdílé àbí kẹ́ fìdílé nǹkan o, kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ àjọ jẹ̀gbádùn ètò tí a tún gbédé lónìí. Ẹ wá rẹ́yìn tẹ́ ẹ sì dúró sínú ṣánẹ́ẹ̀lì gbàgede ìmọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ sọ fún yín wípé kò wù yín kẹ́ ẹ dára wa ní o, torí pé ṣánẹ́ẹ̀lì gbàgede ìmọ̀, èmi kíní yìí ti delete gbogbo videos tó wà ń bẹ̀. Láìpẹ́ á delete ṣánẹ́ẹ̀lì yẹn completely, a ò lò mọ́. Ẹ kúrò ń bẹ̀ kẹ́ máa bọ̀ nínú ṣánẹ́ẹ̀lì gbàgede ìmọ̀, nínú ṣánẹ́ẹ̀lì bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ TV. Ẹ̀yin sá search fún bàbá gbàgede live, bàbá gbàgede live. Tẹ́ bá ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, yóò gbé yín lọ sí channel yẹn direct. Tẹ́ bá wá subscribe, tẹ́ tún tẹ notification bell, kò nídìí kẹ́ṣẹ̀ máa pè mí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ló ń pè mí bàbá àríyíwò mọ́, kí ló dé? Nítorí pé ẹ ti subscribe sí channel tuntun tá a wà ní. Tẹ́yin bá ti subscribe síbẹ̀, ẹ rí wípé ẹ rí wò lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. Tí n bá wá pín fídíò yìí pàápàá dọ́dọ̀ yín lórí WhatsApp, tẹ́ bá ti ń lọ tẹ fídíò gangan wò, ẹ ní lè mọ channel tá a wà. Àmọ́ tẹ́ bá ń kílìkì lórí líǹkì tá a fi sí orí YouTube yẹn, sórí fídíò tá a sẹ́ndì sí lórí WhatsApp tàbí níbòmí tẹ́ bá ti wò, tẹ́ bá kílìkì lórí líǹkì yẹn, á gbé yín direct lọ sínú ṣánẹ́ẹ̀lì bàbá gbàgede live. Tó Yorùbá ní ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ kágbọ̀n, afẹ́fẹ́ ló ń gbé lọ. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí a sọ iléyá ká má sọ dìlé pẹ́. oríṣiríṣi ètò oríṣiríṣi ìròyìn òun láti gbé wá lónìí tí a fẹ́ fi tó wà létí. olóyè Sunday Igboho onífiṣínà tí ń fi ṣí òde tèní àwọn ni wọ́n máa kọ mẹ́sẹ̀jì wá. ẹja break ó dà pé wọ́n ń kanlẹ̀kùn sálẹ̀ náà ṣe ń pariwo.
lẹ̀kùn sálẹ̀ kọ́ ọ̀dà àwùsọ̀ ìlú àná.
olóyè Sunday Igboho òun ni wọ́n fi ṣínà ètò tòní. mo rò pé ó ti pẹ́ díẹ̀ tá a ti gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu olóyè gbẹ̀yìn. olóyè máa ránṣẹ́ sí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri ayé. kí ni wọ́n sọ? olóyè ní àwọn dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri o, gbogbo ẹ̀yin atófojú ogun rán, ẹ̀yin adúró ti ni nígbà ìṣòro, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo Yorùbá délẹ̀, wọ́n láwọn dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o wípé ẹ ṣeun o, ẹ kú ìfọmọnìyàn ṣe. wọ́n wá ní ká sọ fún yín wípé o àwọn kan ti ń gbé irọ́ kiri wípé àwọn ti gbọ́kàn kúò lórí Yorubanation. olóyè Igboho ní kẹ́ ẹ tó lè rí karahun ìgbín lò àfi tí ìgbín bá kú fún rẹ̀, lẹ́ẹ̀tọ́ yọ ìgbín kúrò nínú karahun, lẹ́ẹ̀tọ́ wá rí karahun ìgbín lò. wọ́n ní kú nìkan ló bọ́ṣọ lára ewúrẹ́ o, pé tó ń jẹ́ Yorubanation wọ́n ní àwọn ní Yorubanation ní àwọn, wọ́n ní digbí báyìí làwọn sì wà lẹ́yìn Yorubanation. wọ́n ní no shaking no going back. wọ́n ní gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń gbé rumors káàkiri wípé àwọn ti kúrò nínú Yorubanation, wọ́n ní irọ́ tó jìnnà sóòótọ́ ni o, wípé ó wà lẹ́mìí àwọn. wọ́n wá ní pé gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ jẹ́ ọ̀tọ̀kùlú nílùú Yorùbá, wọ́n ní ẹ má mà sọ pé ẹ ò ní fi ẹ ní sọ́pọ̀tì àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe Yorubanation mọ́. wọ́n ní kẹ́ ẹ rí i pé ẹ darapọ̀ mú àwọn tó ń ṣe Yorubanation, ẹ sì ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́. ọ̀rọ̀ tó lóye sọ rèé, wọ́n ní we must continue our peaceful awareness and campaign in accordance with the United Nations Charter. African Union Charter is seeking self-determination. Also towards the 1 million march coming up in New York at the United Nations 76th General Assembly, organized by Niners. Olayomi Koiki spokesman, Chief Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, 1st of September 2021. tó iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n rán rèé o. wọ́n ní olóyè Sunday Igboho sọ pé lọ́ọ̀yà wọn ni wọ́n fi ọ̀rọ̀ yìí rán. wọ́n ní lọ́ọ̀yà sọ pé I received a message from Chief Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, via his lawyer from Benin Republic, Barrister Olusegun Falola, that he stands on his belief, Yorubanation and the self-determination, because there is nothing like Nigeria again for him. wọ́n ní nǹkan tí agbẹjọ́rò wọn tí orúkọ rẹ̀ ń jẹ́ Olusegun Falola, iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n fi rán rèé o sí agbẹnusọ wọn tí a mọ̀ sí Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. ọ̀rọ̀ tí ó sọ rèé ní àná òde yìí wípé olóyè Sunday Igboho wọ́n kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko lẹ́yìn odi. wọ́n sì tún sọ pé ní agbára Ọlọ́run Elédùmarè kò sí tí ó yí ẹ̀mí àwọn padà o nínú ìjàgbara fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. kódà wọ́n tún sọ ń bẹ̀ pàápàá pé tí ẹ bá ti gba Yorubanation tán, wọ́n ní ẹ̀yin ẹ máa wò ó, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa níná déédéé fún 24 hours bí wọ́n ti ṣe ń ní ní Benin Republic. wọ́n níbẹ̀ náà láṣẹ máa gbádùn náà yàlà àfi bí tó wà nú àlùjọ náà. wọ́n ní ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ kú rọ́jú, wọ́n ní láìpẹ́ a máa fẹ́ ṣoríire yìí náà. lórí tí olóyè Igboho wá sọ yìí, wọ́n sọ ọ̀rọ̀ kan nínú ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ tí ó tún kó nǹkan kan sínú ni. kí ló kó sínú ni 1 million march tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ní ìlú òyìnbó ní Amẹ́ríkà. gbàgbára Ọlọ́run 1 million march yóò wáyé láti on the 14th di on the 24th. ní àsìkò yìí ni United Nations fẹ́ ṣe 76th anniversary wọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe. láti United Nations yìí náà ni headquarter wọn ni wọ́n ti ṣe 1 million march yìí láti fi ẹ̀hónú hàn wípé ẹ fún wa láṣẹ o ká gba Yorubanation ò ní wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ ṣe ẹ jẹ́ ká fún wa ká gbọ́. Niners 1 million march freedom at United Nations headquarters New York 14th to 24th September 2021. Hello everyone, we each need to prepare for Niners million man freedom march outside the United Nations headquarters New York, USA. Even if you are not attending, there are things each of us are to do to make a great success, to make it a great success, because we are working for our liberty and cannot leave it to others to do it at all. We also get involved. The date are 14th to 24th September 2021. Please see the posters attached below. The Niners 1 million march freedom march is for all the 3 blocks in our alliance. So it is for Lower Niger block, Odua block, and Middle Belt block. Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà is the main organizer, but we each are to be part of it. When it starts 1st September and throughout that month, we are to trend the hashtag that is Niners_MMF freedom, MM freedom march by each day, spreading awareness on our social media account each and every day so that the global community hears the sound of people seeking freedom. So whenever you are in the world, get involved. Látara ìgbìyànjú àwọn Niners yìí àti gbogbo Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tí wọ́n láwọn fẹ́ ṣe ìwọ́de fún 1 mílíọ̀nù, ìyẹn ni pé ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún kan àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ìwọ́de, àwọn Yorùbá tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ìwọ́de ní headquarter olú ọ́fíìsì àwọn United Nations ní Amẹ́ríkà. Látàrí ìdí èyí ó yà mí lẹ́nu láti sọ fún wa pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí bí eré ìjọba Nàìjíríà náà gbọ́ o, kẹsẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ò ní wọ́n sì ti react lé lórí. Kí ni wọ́n wá ṣe? Ohun tí wọ́n ṣe ni wípé lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ làwọn náà ti gbé èèyàn dìde. Lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ìjọba Nàìjíríà náà ti gbé èèyàn dìde o, ni wọ́n ti sọ pé kí wọ́n tètè kí wọ́n máa lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà, kí wọ́n lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ de àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe 1 million march yìí.
President Muhammadu Buhari's Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, among other officials, is traveling to the United States on Thursday ahead of the United Nations General Assembly due to hold by September 14. It was gathered that part of the mandate of the top government officials was to try to infiltrate the ranks of the Nigerian Self-Determination Group. A top source disclosed that while Buhari would be attending the UN Assembly, the entourage led by Gambari, who is a diplomat and former top UN official, was sent ahead to weaken the strengths of the agitation groups before the president's arrival. The UN program is starting September 18. The chief of staff is leaving for USA tomorrow, Thursday, with some people working with him, including his personal assistants, Lukman Bosun and Niola. No one knows when they will be back, but they are not supposed to have any business with the president's trip. However, it was reported August 11 that agitation groups in the country under the Nigeria Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination said they would hold a 1 million march at the UN headquarters in New York to reiterate the demand for a referendum on self-determination and abolition of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. NINAS is an umbrella body of self-determination movements in the South-South, South-East, Middle Belt and South-West, Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà. The 1 million march is scheduled to hold between September 14 and 21, 2021, when the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly would hold in the United States. This had been disclosed by NINAS leaders and members of the group who signed the constitutional force majeure declared on September 16, 2020, rejecting the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, calling for a UN-supervised referendum. In a statement, the communications manager for the group, Maxwell Adeleye, had said the march would be led by renowned historian and emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye. Other participants include Yusuf Turakai, a respected scholar, Secretary General of NINAS, Tony Nnadi, Pioneer Commissioner for Education in Osun State, and National Chairman of Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà, Wale Adeniran, among others. According to the statement, the group seeks to dismantle the purported fraudulent 1999 constitution, end the unworkable unitary union that the constitution has foisted on the people, and champion the process for self-determination by which sovereignty would be restored to the constituent regions. It also called on all indigenous people from southern Nigeria and middle belt around the world to unite and stand together in solidarity in their demand for the restoration of their sovereignty, inalienable rights to their self-determination, assets, and right to freely choose their association with any state. It was stated that during the Freedom March, a demand will be made to the United Nations to send a peacekeeping force to Nigeria to save embattled indigents who are daily massacred by criminal elements among Fulani herdsmen and other terrorists, including Boko Haram and Islamic States. What will be happening at UNGA is that the members of Ilana Omo Oodua, under the leadership of Emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye, alongside other members of NINAS from the lower Niger and middle belt of Nigeria, hold a 1 million march opposite the UN headquarters in New York from September 14 to 21, 2021, to demand for a referendum to decide on the rights to self-determination of the people who want an end to unitary system of Nigeria, which has since been turned into an apartheid state. We shall also be demanding first and foremost the abolition of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, which we have shown to be a fraud perpetrated against the people of the south and middle belt of Nigeria, given that the people did not make it at all. All sons and daughters of the lower Niger, southeast, south-south, southwest, and middle belt clans living in the US are being mobilized to stand up for their indigenous nationalities by participating in the 1 week, 1 million march for the liberation of their people, the statement had said.
Látòrí chief of staff àtàwọn míì ò ní wọ́n ti sáré lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà láti lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ de àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ìwọ́de yìí. Òun náà ni pé wọ́n fi hàn wá níbi pé ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ NINAS tó jẹ́ pé ìkànnì ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà jẹ́ nínú NINAS. NINAS yìí ni àkójọpọ̀ gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n jìjàgbara nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ní àwọn Niger Delta àti Middle Belt àti ilẹ̀ Igbo papọ̀. Àwọn ẹni yìí ni wọ́n parapọ̀ ni wọ́n sọ pé ó tó gẹ́ o, àwọn ò ń ṣe ara Nàìjíríà mọ́. Àwọn ẹni náà ni wọ́n tún wá sọ pé ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún kan tá a mọ̀ sí 1 million àwọn èèyàn ni wọ́n ó ṣe ìwọ́de wọ́ọ́rọ́wọ́ ní iwájú United Nations ní àsìkò tí United Nations bá ń ṣe 76th annual meeting tí wọ́n máa ń ṣe tó máa ń àjọ gbogbo àgbáyé tó máa ń pa gbogbo àgbáyé. Kódà olórí wa Muhammadu Buhari àwọn náà wà ń bẹ̀. Ìdí rẹ̀ tí wọ́n tètè ṣe ya rán àwọn tí a kà síta yìí chief of staffs, olórí gbogbo àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọ̀gágun tó ti fẹ̀yìntì Muhammadu Buhari ló ṣe rán wọn lọ àtàwọn ọmọọṣẹ́ rẹ̀ àtàwọn jàǹkànjàǹkàn bẹ́ẹ̀ kí wọ́n lọ́ọ́ máa tó lẹ́lẹ̀ pé kò ní ṣeé ṣe o. Àwọn tí wọ́n láwọn fẹ́ ṣe ìwọ́de bí kún ló lóko ni bí tàkúté ni. Ẹ jẹ́ á wo bó ṣe fẹ́ rí njọ́ náà. Wọ́n ní kóbìnrin tàtọ̀rìn kọkùnrin tàtọ̀rìn kàwòtà ni ó lomi lẹ́yìn ẹsẹ̀ jura wọn lọ. So let's keep our finger crossed and let's see what is going to happen that day. Ẹ̀sáàjì àfọwọ́lẹ́rán ká máa wò, ṣùgbọ́n o ká má gbàgbé wípé àdúà òun náà ni ọ̀pá Kristẹni, àdúà náà ni ẹbọ bí Yorùbá ti ṣe sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ á máa fàdúà ran ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lọ́wọ́ káwo kí ni tán fẹ́ ṣe gan. Tó tí a ò bá gbàgbé a rí pé àná tí ń ṣe ọjọ́ Tuesday òun náà ni on the 1st of September lélẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo àwọn gómìnà south east àti south west, gbogbo gómìnà gúúsù pátápátá, gbogbo wọn ni wọ́n foríkorí tí wọ́n sọ pé ìmáa da ẹran jẹ ní àárín ìgboro àti pé kí Fúlàní sápamọ́ sí inú igbó kí wọ́n láwọn ń dẹran jẹ tá à ń pè ní open grazing. Wọ́n lélẹ́yìí máa dópin láti on the 1st tí ń ṣe àná. Ó yani lẹ́nu pé à ń pe ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ní ọ̀wẹ̀ ó mà ti ń láró nù, ó ti ń ní àáró ó ti ń ní nínú o. Torí pé a ti ń rí àwọn ìlú kọ̀ọ̀kan tí wọ́n ti buwọ́ lu ọ̀rọ̀ open grazing yìí tó sì ti di àṣẹ pé látòní lọ a gbọ́dọ̀ rí Fúlàní kankan nílùú wa kó lóun dẹran jẹ àbúsá sínú igbó wípé òun ó máa gbé ẹran kan kiri. Kódà mo gbọ́ dáadáa ní Ondo wípé lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti buwọ́ lù ní àná, àwọn kan tí wọ́n rúfin, àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n rúfin, wọ́n rí wọn kó àwọn Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn wọ́n rí wọn kó wọ́n sì kó wọn lọ sọ́dọ̀ gómìnà, wọ́n kó wọn lọ sí ọgbà ọlọ́pàá tí màálù wọ́n ní tẹrùtẹrù làbùké wọ̀lú, tí màálù wọn ni wọ́n kó wọn lọ, wọ́n dì wọ́n ní pápá, wọ́n sì kó wọn lọ sọ́dọ̀ ọlọ́pàá, ọ̀fọ̀lọ́pàá mú wọn. Eléyìí yà wá lẹ́nu pé tó lóńdó òfin yẹn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Fúlàní kí Fúlàní tí wọ́n bá rí tó dẹran lójú pópó àbósápamọ́ sínú igbó lòun ń dẹran, wọ́n máa lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ olùtọ́. Látara wípé àwọn gómìnà káàkiri wọ́n ti buwọ́ lu òfin yìí, àwọn tí ò tí ì buwọ́ lù wọ́n ti gbé lọ sílé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin láti sọ pé ẹ bá wa yòfin yìí wò torí pé a fẹ́ buwọ́ lù. Gómìnà wọn sì ń retí káwọn ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin gbé wá sórí tébùrù òun kóun sì buwọ́ lù ni. Ó kéré tán ó ti tó stéètì bíi 12 ní gbogbo gúúsù Nàìjíríà, ìyẹn tá a mọ̀ sí Southern Nigeria, tí àwọn gọ́fúnà sì ti ṣe tán. Lẹ́yìn Imo State ní Usodima ló ti yarí tiẹ̀ wípé káwọn Fúlàní máa dẹran lọ bó ṣe wù wọ́n nínú ìlú òun, kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ bá nínà fókun gírèsì. Ó tún fẹ́ lè má sì mọ́ gómìnà míì tó tún sọ pé kò sí tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, àmọ́ gómìnà Usodima ní Imo State òun ti sọ pé kò sí tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Látàrí eléyìí tá a bá gbàgbé, a rí i pé gbogbo ọ̀nà òun náà ni ọ̀gágun tó ti fẹ̀yìntì Muhammadu Buhari ti ń ṣe ààrẹ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà, gbogbo ọ̀nà ni wọ́n gbà pé kí òfin open grazing yìí kó má múlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àbí ní South. Àwọn kan ti wá dá president lóhùn o, àwọn àjọ kan wọ́n ti dá president lóhùn pé ẹ má dúnkokò mọ́ wa o, ẹ má dúnkokò mọ́ wa rárá. Ìdí ni pé a ò lè gbà yín láyè láéláé kẹ́ẹ̀kan gbalẹ̀ wa lọ́wọ́ wa bẹ́ẹ̀. Stop bragging. We won't let you take over our land by force. Southern group tells Miyetti Allah. The Southern Nigeria Frontier, SNF, has vowed to resist any group within and outside the region contemplating to forcefully take over lands for open grazing in any of the southern states. The organization stated this in the press release signed and issued by its spokesman by Olufemi Lawson in Abuja on Tuesday. It was reacting to the warning by the Miyetti Allah counter groups to disobey the anti-open grazing law enacted by some southern states. Southern group said, if Miyetti Allah thinks any inch of our land will be ceded for its occupation forcefully, then it should be well prepared for the consequences of disobedience to legitimate laws in our states. If we would ever be conquered in our land, definitely such will not be through those we should ordinarily employ on our ranches. Rather than regulate the activities of its members, who keeps invading our villages, raping our women, and killing people, Miyetti Allah thinks that matters is the threats of war and disobedience to our laws. We will never allow that. If they continue to see the law aimed at the protections of our lives as satanic, we are definitely in a wrong and impossible country, but we will enforce our laws without any iota of fear. The press release also condemned the recent threat by the others to arrest Governor Samuel Ortom after his tenure expires in 2023 through its vigilante wing, adding that it should not be swept under the carpet. We wish to remind the federal government that such boasting as the threat on the life of a state governor should not be taken for granted and must be investigated without further delay, he added. Ṣàti gbọ́ báyìí tá a bá gbàgbé a rí pé Miyetti Allah sọ pé it is totally a satanic decision fún gbogbo àwọn southern governors láti sọ pé àwọn máa ban open grazing. Miyetti Allah ńlẹ̀ẹ́lẹ̀ ń bí wọ́n jáde wọ́n wá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, ìdá wọn lóhùn rèé o, kò dẹ́ ṣẹjọ́ wọn torí nínú ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn Miyetti Allah sọ pé federal government ti fáwọn lágbára láti máa dẹrùn àwọn lọ, so ìtàwọn gọ́fúnà south sọ yẹn wọ́n kàn sọ sápò ara wọn ni. ó làwọn àjọ yìí ṣe dá wọn lóhùn pé ẹgbẹ́ nu yín sọ́hùn ẹ má halẹ̀ mọ́ wa a lè filẹ̀ wálẹ̀ fún yín bẹ́ẹ̀ torí pé ọmọ akíní wa ò tí ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣojo ilẹ̀ wa ò sí fún yín a ò ní gbà yín láyè kẹ́ ẹ máa lulẹ̀ wa bó ti wù yín kò sí tó jọ o lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation tí à ń sọ yìí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tí Igboho sọ àti kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá fídíò kan mo fẹ́ ká lọ wò ó pàápàá jùlọ nígbà tí wọ́n fi àwọn 8 sílẹ̀ nínú ọmọ Yorùbá tó wá kù àwọn 4 mo retí kí gbogbo yín bi mí pé a gbọ́ nǹkan kan mọ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn lédìké bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nítorí pé àwọn kùdìẹ̀kùdìẹ̀ yìí ò tí kú òǹbẹ̀ wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ gidi lọ́ọ̀yà àwọn lédìké ò mà dákẹ́ o ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ gidi lé lórí ṣùgbọ́n o dídùn lọ́sàn ó so nígbẹ̀yìn ó dá mi lójú pé láìpẹ́ àkọrin ayọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ọmọ Nàìjíríà sọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ mo fẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́ kí ni wọ́n sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí mò ń padà bọ̀.
gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìbéèrè tí mo fẹ́ béèrè lórí ọ̀rọ̀ olóyè Sunday Adéníyì Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ṣá ẹ jẹ́ kí n mú láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe ìkọlù sílé wọn ní ọjọ́ kìíní oṣù keje ọdún tá a wà yìí wọ́n kó àwọn èèyàn 12 nínú ilé wọn lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n pa àwọn èèyàn 2 tí a ti rí òkú wọn di èní. mo fẹ́ béèrè kí ni èrò yín lórí àwọn òkú 2 yìí tí wọ́n pa tí wọ́n gbé lọ tí a ò tí ì rí tó jẹ́ pé àlọ́ wọn ni ìran Yorùbá rí a ò tí ì rí àbọ̀ wọn ìyẹn àkọ́kọ́. ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì ni wípé nínú àwọn 12 tí wọ́n kó ní ilé wọn ní ọjọ́ kìíní oṣù keje tí mo ti wí wọ́n ti fi 8 lẹ̀ báyìí nínú àwọn 12 ọ̀hún léyìí tó jẹ́ pé àwọn 4 wọ́n sì wà ní àkàtà wọn nínú àwọn 4 ọ̀hún arábìnrin Amudat Babatunde lédìké yìí ó sì wà lára wọn. ìmọ̀ràn wo lẹ fẹ́ gba ìran Yorùbá lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí àti wípé kí ni èrò tí gangan lẹ́rù pé ó ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan tí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí tó fi rí báyìí.
ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá kọjá nǹkan tí èèyàn kò lè máa fojú kékeré wò because àwọn èèyàn wa wọ́n burú kọjá nǹkan táwa ń rò so problem tí Yorùbá ní jù ni pé aláìkí àríjẹ́ǹdì ìbàjẹ́ ibi tí ìwà burúkú bá wà ibẹ̀ la máa ń fẹ́ yes tábà ti ń rí owó ń bẹ̀ a fẹ́ mọ̀ bóyá ó ń pa àwọn èèyàn kan o bóyá 20 people ló ń kú léde lórí owó táwa ń rí a fẹ́ mọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ti ń yọ owó fún àwa individual person so a máa ń believe yes the right thing la ti ń ṣe and then kò dẹ̀ sí òfin mọ́ because tó ẹgbẹ́ òfin bá wà ní a lot of things tí adájọ́ fi hàn nílé ẹjọ́ so tí àwọn lọ́yà dẹ̀ tẹ̀lé tí wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú òfin so tí òfin ilé ẹjọ́ ti yàtọ̀ sí òfin DSS so the only thing tá lè ṣe ni pé àdúrà náà la máa gbà so kọ́lọ́n bá wa pètù sí wọn nú kán lè ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kán ṣe so because bá a ṣe ń wọ̀rọ̀ yìí ìjọba ń fojú kékeré wò àwa náà ń fojú kékeré wò so bọ́dẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣí yẹn ó dẹ̀ máa fẹ̀ ó máa fẹ̀ débi ibi tó bá débì kan apá wa ò ní ká apá ìjọba gan ò ní ká mọ́ so àwa di pé kó lórí dorí ẹ̀ mú ibi tẹ́nibọ̀dì bá rí kó gbà lọ kò dẹ̀ wá síbi tá a tún lè gbà lọ láfíríkà yìí tó lè gba Nigeria because we are more in the population so ó difficult fún Africa kan láti contain pé ó yá ẹ máa bọ̀ àbí tábà sá lọ bá tí wọ́n ní lé wa padà so ìjọba ni kó fi ọpọlọ ṣe kàn ṣe bí òfin bá ṣe sọ so kàn máa lo individual priority láti fi ṣe nǹkan because nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí kì í ṣe pé bóyá ọ̀rọ̀ yàn sí lọ́wọ́ ìjọba ọ̀rẹ́ di individual person ló hò díẹ̀ pé ẹ má fi wọ́n lẹ̀ kí n lè ráyè ṣe tèmi so ẹ jẹ́ kí n lògbà tèmi náà bẹ́ẹ̀ bá tẹ̀ máa fi wọ́n lẹ̀ nǹkan tèmi wá kó tẹ̀ mí lọ́wọ́ tó bá ti tẹ̀ mí lọ́wọ́ so àyà wà fún wọn so màá mọ̀ bí mo ṣe lè ṣe ṣùgbọ́n ju gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ kí wọ́n máa bẹ Ọlọ́run ni because Sunday kì í ṣe èèyàn kan tó yẹ kó déédéé dìde gbogbo àwọn alágbára tá a rí tó dìde tó jà fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà tí wọn ò tí ì náwó náà máa ń jà so tó bá dẹ̀ ti pè wọ́n tó bá ti dé ó ti tán nìyẹn wọ́n máa di ara wọn ọmọ wà ní ìkọ̀kan náà ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tí ó ronú gbégbà tó òun náwó tán ọ́n ní lówó kan òun fẹ́ kú so olówó lẹ́yìn tó wá rẹ́ẹ̀dì pé mo fẹ́ kú so ṣé kò tí sí àrídájú mẹ́ pé lẹ́yìn ní ọ̀kan ṣe fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó ní owó tán lówó pa òun di náwó èló lòun fẹ́ máa fún àwọn èèyàn lójúmọ́ tó máa tó wọn bí ó bá ṣe pé kíní kó wà kẹ́nìbọ̀dì bẹ́nẹ́fìtì àǹfààní ló ṣẹ̀ dìde tó dẹ̀ náwó ara ẹ̀ tó fi ń sponsor ara ẹ̀ so tó fi ń sponsor àwọn èèyàn pé ó yá nǹkan báyìí ẹ jẹ́ ká gbà fáwọn èèyàn wa ọ̀nà òun ò du president òun ò du chairman òun ò du ọ̀gán bẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n kórúkọ tòun kọ̀ wá ń bẹ̀ so kì í ṣe pé owó ló ń wá lọ́tọ̀ bí wọ́n ti pè láti fún lówó ó ní òun nídìí owó wọn so kí lóun fẹ́ fi owó wọn ṣe kì í ṣe pé owó tó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ náà ó pọ̀ tó àrírí ṣùgbọ́n ó believe pé níwọ̀n báyìí tó òun nìyẹn òun á jẹ àwọn tó wọn mọ tó wọn á dẹ̀ ṣe oríire ńbẹ̀ so kò dẹ̀ sí oríire kan tó pọ̀ jù láyé ju pé kíyàn bímọ kó dẹ̀ rán ọmọ lọ school kọ́ mọ níṣẹ́ tó dáa lọ́wọ́ so àdúrà ní ká ṣáà máa gbà.
ẹ̀hún nílẹ̀ Yorùbá gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe mọ̀ wípé láwọn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó kù olóko ò lè lọ sóko mọ́ olódò wọn ò lè lọ odò ọlọ́nà wọn ò lè yẹnà mọ́ látara wípé ìjínigbé ìjínipa kí lè ròyìn gan lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tíjọba ń sọ wípé ìdáranjẹ ìta gbangba yìí àwọn sì fẹ́ kó tẹ̀síwájú táwọn gómìnà láwọn ìpínlẹ̀ dẹ̀ ń sọ wípé àwọn ò faramọ́ ìdáranjẹ níta gbangba yìí pé tí ìjọba pẹnupọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn káwọn wáàyè fún àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe ọ̀sìn ẹran láti máa kó ẹran wọn síbẹ̀ kí wọ́n dẹ̀ máa ṣe ìtọ́jú wọn níbẹ̀ kí wá ní èrò yín lórí ìpinnu ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti ti àwọn gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan.
lórí ọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n ń fẹ́ràn jẹ ko yẹn àti pé olóko ò lè lọ ko mọ́ pírọ́blẹ́mù yẹn ò sí lọ́dọ̀ ìjọba ọwọ́ àwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn wà àti ọwọ́ àwọn tí ó ń ṣèjọba ọ̀dọ̀ wa southwest ń bí báyìí so kò kan federal government akọ̀mọ́mọ́ ń ti ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ sí ọwọ́ federal government kan ló ní àwa fúnra wa ń báyìí la ní pírọ́blẹ́mù yẹn àtàwọn gọ́fúnà àtàwọn politician wa àtàwọn àgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àtàwọn aṣojú wa so yóò ń ṣe ọwọ́ federal government so àwa là ń fi olè ẹ̀mí jára wa so ládẹ̀ ń dára wa láàmú so là ń polè pé máa bọ̀ ẹ wá jà wá àwọn ọmọ mi àwọn èèyàn mi ní nǹkan lọ́wọ́ so àdẹ̀ gbájà àpolè wájà tán àpolóko pé kó wá mu àpolè pé máa bọ̀ wá jà àwọn èèyàn mi ní nǹkan lọ́wọ́ so rẹ́mú bẹ́ẹ̀.
ẹ káàbọ̀ padà ṣe ti gbọ́ nǹkan tó ní kálukú sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ kí ni tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn lédìké ìyà tí wọ́n fi ń jẹ ọmọ Yorùbá níjọ́ wo nìyà yìí fẹ́ dákẹ́ níjọ́ wo ló fẹ́ dópin arákùnrin yìí tí mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ fún wa yìí ó bu omijé lójú mi nígbà tí wọ́n sọ ọ̀rọ̀ arákùnrin yìí fún mi mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo wa kí a tẹ́tí bẹ̀lẹ̀ jẹ́ ká fi gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ arákùnrin ṣé Elédùmarè ọba òkè kò má kúkú ní jẹ́ káràrìn fẹsẹ̀ sùn àwọn èèyàn ń kàwé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lóòótọ́ àwọn èèyàn ń kàwé ìlú Nàìjíríà wọ́n á jìyà kí wọ́n tó róyè gbà wọ́n á tún kàwé ọ̀hún tán kò síṣẹ́ tí wọ́n máa fi ṣe òun ló fà á tẹ́ fi ráwọn doctors wa tí wọ́n fi ń sá lọ sí Saudi tó ń sá lọ Amẹ́ríkà sá lọ gbogbo ẹ̀ kiri arákùnrin kan rèé ó ní masters degree is a masters degree holder ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ má yà mí lẹ́nu Lagos state government tọrọ arákùnrin tí mo gbọ́ ìbájò òótọ́ mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run kẹ́ ẹ jèbùrẹ́ o àwo olùgbẹ̀bẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ bá wa fún ọkùnrin níṣẹ́ padà torí pé ìyànjẹ tó tóbi ó lè mí kàkún ó yẹ kójú tì wá nílùú yìí àwọn ẹni tá a lọ bá ta campaign fún tí wọ́n dìbò fún wa tí wọ́n tún wá dìbò fún wa tán tá a máa lò wọ́n bí ẹrú nínú ìlú bàbá wa tá a tún máa ṣẹrú níjọ́ wo ló fẹ́ stop arákùnrin yìí ó ní masters ó wáṣẹ́wáṣẹ́ kò rí ni wọ́n bá fún níṣẹ́ akógọ́tà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọ́n ní kó lọ máa kó gọ́tà odidi masters degree holder wọ́n wá fún ní 35,000 naira ní sálárì ó sì ń gbà á kò sọ̀rọ̀ mo rò pa wá ráwọn tó bí léèrè èló ló ń gbà nídìí iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe yìí ó sì sọ fún wọn pé 35,000 ni ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ta síjọba Èkó létí o wọ́n mà ti dá arákùnrin dúró wọ́n ti dá dúró wọ́n ní kó lọ rọ́kúnlé wọ́n láwọn ò fún níṣẹ́ mọ́ báwo ló ṣe máa sọ iye táwọn ń fún lóṣù síta mò ń bọ̀ náà Lagos ministry sacks masters degree holder who is a street sweeper for disclosing he collect 35,000 naira as salary. Masters degree holder Lagos ministry sacks masters degree holder who is a street sweeper for disclosing he collects 35,000 naira as salary. A young master's degree holder employed by the Lagos State Ministry has been sacked for revealing that he is being paid 35,000 naira a month. The graduate and master's degree holder, identified as Mr. Toyemej Joseph Juwonlo, revealed that he was offered 35,000 naira every month as salary to clean drainages in Ikotun area of the state. Got sacked because the ministry wanted to keep his salary secret. Juwonlo is a father of 3 children who is from the Badagry area of Lagos. The ministry officials were said to have become angry after the conditions of services were made public and the governor asked to know why he was engaged with such ridiculous salaries even as a Lagosian. And the governor asked to know why he was engaged with such ridiculous salary as a Lagosian. However, instead of addressing the issue, definitely governor wọn ò mọ nǹkan kan pa ìtẹ́lẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n gbà tí wọ́n gbọ́ wọ́n wò pé irú èèmọ̀ wo rèé bó ló ṣe máa ṣiṣẹ́ 35,000 naira as a degree holder even as a master's degree holder. Bó kàn rán kí gómìnà wá wò pé irọ́ o ibi tó ga jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ lágbè ẹ lọ kí ni gómìnà ṣe òun lẹ́gbọ́ yìí. However, instead of addressing the issue as requested by the governor, he was asked to stop work without payment for the days he had cleaned drainages in the state. The embattled Juwonlo started work last month and had to trek from his house at Benin area to Ikotun every morning to do the job after the Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources had engaged him as drainage supervisor, meaning to clean gutter as the Ikotun axis. PM Express had reported that Juwonlo was engaged without any appointment letter and he was not sure of the conditions of the work he was employed to do. With the sacked, the Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources has confirmed that he can be sacked without payment for the number of days he had cleaned the drainages. The 49-year-old Juwonlo studied banking and finance as first degree before he went for his master's in business financing and had worked many places before he started his own business as a freight forwarder, which eventually collapsed due to the economic situations in the country. He was said to have been out of job since 2014 and could not feed his family. The embattled Juwonlo said that for the past 7 years, he had written several applications, looked for both government and private jobs to no avail before he was informed about the work to clean drainages under the ministry, and he decided to take the job instead of continuing to stay idle. He had earlier said that he did not know his fate in the job and did not know if it was a contract job or not, but was told that it was from the ministry. Juwonlo's condition attracted many reactions from members of the public in the Ikotun area, where he worked, as many stressed that it was indicative that the government is not ready to assist its citizens. Despite the meagre salary offered Juwonlo, which will not take care of his wife and children, his tale of woes has been compounded by the government ministry by sacking him from the job just for disclosing his salary. Ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri ayé, ọ̀rọ̀ Juwonlo la gbé sáyé tẹ́ gbọ́ yìí o. Ọ̀rọ̀ Juwonlo la gbé sáyé tẹ́ gbọ́ yìí. Bí mo sì ti ń wo àwọn fọ́tò tá à ń wò yìí, kì í ṣe irọ́. Torí àwọn fọ́tò tí Juwonlo yà rèé nígbà tó wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ náà. Èmi ò wá mọ̀ o, kí ni tí Lagos State Government tí wọ́n fi lè ṣe nǹkan ṣe yìí o, àbí ministry tó gba Juwonlo síṣẹ́, ó yẹ káàánú tiẹ̀ máa ṣe wá nílùú Nàìjíríà. Àìmọye gbàgbèje Juwonlo ló wà ní street Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n fẹsẹ̀ gbálẹ̀ kiri, tó jẹ́ tó bá tiẹ̀ jàjà rí nǹkan kan pé ṣé màá ṣá máa rí iye kan gbà, màá ṣá máa rówó kan mú lọlé, ìyàwó àtọmọ á ṣá máa fi nǹkan sẹ́nu. Irú ipò tá bára wa rèé. Ṣé bí nǹkan táwọn tó láwọn fẹ́ kúrò nílùú Nàìjíríà wọ́n fẹ́ dá dúró àwọn fẹ́ di Yorùbá nation ara ń tán ríre ara tí wọ́n ríre tán fi láwọn fẹ́ dá dúró tíjọba ní kí wọ́n mórí wá kán fọrùn lẹ̀ rẹ́dẹ̀rẹ̀dẹ̀ tá à ń gbọ́ yìí Yorùbá náà ló ń forí kó ọmọ Haúsá tẹ́ẹ̀rì tí ó kàwé dé master level táwa lòun wáṣẹ́ lu Nàìjíríà débi wípé a máa kó gọ́tà èmi ò tí ì gbọ́ rí mi ò tí ì bá wọn pàdé rí àfilẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí nìkan bẹ́ẹ̀ dé lu òyìnbó Yorùbá náà lẹ́ẹ̀bà nídìí iṣẹ́ ìwọ̀ síbẹ̀ ẹ lọ Saudi Yorùbá náà lẹ́ẹ̀bà nídìí iṣẹ́ ìwọ̀ síbẹ̀ Dubai ńkọ́ wọn ló ń kà nílẹ̀ tó jọmọ Yorùbá ẹ̀yin ará Amẹ́ríkà ṣe bẹ́yìn náà mọ̀ wọ́n láàrin street ẹ̀yin ará London ẹ kúkú dá gbogbo wọn mọ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà Canada ẹ máa ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí ń kó gọ́tà kó dọ̀tí mbẹ̀ àwọn tó ń fọ̀dí farúgbó ńkọ́ wọ́n sọ ní o ìfojú mi rí wọn torí mi ti dá wọn lú ìrí àmọ́ tó dá mi lójú ni pé wọ́n wà bẹ́ẹ̀ èyí tó ń wẹ̀ fókù èyí tó jẹ́ pé àgbàlagbà lòun ń de pátá fún ló ń de pampasì fún iṣẹ́ ìwọ̀sí báyìí lọmọ Yorùbá ṣe káàkiri ayé ẹ lè rí Fúlàní àbáwúsá kan bẹ̀ àwọn náwó Nàìjíríà ni ẹ wo tójú ọmọ Yorùbá ń rí ṣé kó wá máa lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ká dákẹ́ ká fọwọ́ lẹ́rán ni kò rí báyìí ńgbà tọ́lọ́mú dẹ́mú yẹ́ gbé nígbà tí Yorùbá dá wà tá à ń dáṣe regional government wa Awólọ́wọ̀ ní owó lọ́wọ́ torí pé gbogbo owó tá à ń palẹ̀ Yorùbá nìkan ló mọ̀ iṣẹ́ wà owó wà gbogbo nǹkan wà kódà àwọn ọmọ yunifásitì ńgbà náà wọ́n á ti kó employment letter sí student affairs òun parí báyìí ṣúùsì tó bá wù ẹ́ nínú àwọn iṣẹ́ yẹn ni ṣúùsì tó bá wù ẹ́ nínú àwọn iṣẹ́ yẹn èyí tó bá fẹ́ ṣe ń bẹ̀ ìwọ́sà ṣúùsì ẹ̀ ni employment letter ti wà ńlẹ̀ àmọ́ lónìí ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ o Yorùbá Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká ṣerú kiri ayé níjọ́wọ́ leléyìí fẹ́ dákẹ́ jù wọ́n tẹ̀ ń wò yìí àìmọye gbàgbèje èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹ lọ wo àwọn ọlọ́kadà káàkiri ẹ bá ìmọye graduate ń bẹ̀ ẹ lọ wo àwọn onímárúwá graduate gbangba ìmọye kódà ìmíì ní first class ẹ lọ abẹ́ bíríìjì lóṣòdì ẹ ráwọn tí wọ́n ní sàtífíkẹ́ẹ̀tì rẹpẹtẹ tí wọ́n ń fẹsẹ̀ gbá jọ́gráfì ẹsẹ̀ kiri ẹ wá ní ká dákẹ́ ká máa wò Yorùbá ò lè dákẹ́ nítorí pé nǹkan fi wá ṣẹrú ìpọ̀ ètò wa ń bani nínú jẹ́ ni pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni wọ́n ti ń pa owó tó pọ̀ jù fún Nàìjíríà ọrọ̀ ajé Nàìjíríà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló wà àwa la lómi àwa náà la lé gbogbo nǹkan lẹ́yìn epo tó wà nílẹ̀ Yíbò àtàwọn náà dẹ̀ ní sí kò sí nǹkan kan lè Haúsá gbogbo ẹnu mi sọ Haúsá ò ní nǹkan kan tí wọ́n contribute sí ọrọ̀ ajé Nàìjíríà àwọn náà sì ń gbowó jù ṣé kọ́rọ̀ yìí máa wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tọ́lọ́mú bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní dánmú ìyá ẹ̀gbẹ́ ní ìsìn tó di pé Yorùbá náà gba freedom tiwọn àárówó ná àárín nǹkan ṣe ẹ lọ wo iye tí wọ́n ń pa lójoojúmọ́ ní wọ́ọ̀f ẹ lọ wo iye tó ń pa ń bẹ̀ lápapá wọ́ọ̀f nígbà tí wọ́n bá pa trillions tán owó tí wọ́n máa fún Lagos state government tán ti pa owó yẹn kò ní tó half percent kì í ṣe pé 1% o kò tó 0.000.1% tí wọ́n máa fún tí wọ́n bá fún bẹ́ẹ̀ tán wọ́n á wá pín tó kù wọ́n á pín láàrin jálá sílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó kù wọ́n á fúnlẹ̀ Yíbò náà àti South ní jálá ní north nìkan kò less than 50% of all the resources tí wọ́n ń pín sílẹ̀ north kí ló dé kí lẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tá a ṣẹ̀ ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣé kọ́rọ̀ yìí máa lọ báyìí ni rárá o kò lè lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo wá fàsìkò yìí péjọba Èkó Lagos state government mo mọ̀ pé ní ire ni yín Your Excellency ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ arákùnrin yìí torí ìtọ́ lọ́hùn ẹ bá wa rí sí ẹ bá wa fún níṣẹ́ káàkiri lè máa jẹ́ Sanwó-Olú tẹ̀ ń jẹ lọ ní gbogbo ìgbà lèmi máa ń yìn yín wípé ẹ káre ẹ kú fọmọnìyàn ṣe àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ jù wọ́n yìí o torí ìtọ́ lọ́hùn Elédùmarè ẹ jọ̀ọ́ mo gbóṣùbà fún yín o ẹ bá wa rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ jù wọ́n gbàgbèje jù wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ sì wà káàkiri ayé ṣùgbọ́n ìyà ilé yìí pọ̀ jù ẹ bá wa rí sí tó láìpẹ́ yìí oníjọba fún àwọn Boko Haram ní wọ́n láwọn repentant Boko Haram ni wọ́n dáríjì wọ́n fún wọn l'amnesty tẹ́ bá gbàgbé a sì ń pariwo ńgbà náà pé èké làwọn ẹni irọ́ ni wọ́n ń pa wọ́n repent nǹkan kan irọ́ tó tóbi ni àwọn ẹni ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yọwọ́ ní kọ̀ọ̀kan ìjèjì repentant notorious bandits working with Katsina state government arrested for armed robbery and cattle rustling lára àwọn tí wọ́n láwọn repentant yìí tán láwọn ti repent àwọn ò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ lára wọn Katsina state government gbà wọ́n yẹn ni pé ìlú president wa wọ́n gbà wọ́n sì fún wọn ṣẹ́ wọ́n ń gbọ́ owó tùlùtùlù lóṣooṣù ṣùgbọ́n ṣe mọ̀ pé kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ṣe ebòlò tó tí ò ní rùngbẹ́ kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣe wúrẹ́ tó kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣẹlẹ́dẹ̀ tó àfi kó padà sínú òórùn nítorí pé ọ̀bùn ni àwọn ẹni nítorí ìwà ọ̀daràn tó ti wà nígbèsí ayé wọn ṣé wọ́n ń tan gbogbo ayé nípa àwọn rìpẹ́ǹtì aburú tí wọ́n ṣe náà látòkà yìí o lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti dáríjì wọ́n tán mẹ́ta nínú wọn ni wọ́n mú yìí òní mo fẹ́ kà fún wa yìí. Repentant notorious bandits working with Katsina state government arrested for armed robbery and cattle rustling. The Katsina State Police Command has arrested 3 repentant bandits for robbery and cattle rustling in Gawa local government area of the state. Spokesperson of the command, SP Isa Gambo, who disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday, September 1st, said the suspect repented and had been working in collaboration with the Katsina State government and security agencies. Gambo said one of the 3 suspects, Abdullah Imai Rafi, was a notorious bandit and working under the Office of Special Assistant to the State Governor on Security since he repented. On 25th 8 August 2021, at about 12:30 p.m., the command succeeded in arresting the trio of one Abdullah Imai Rafi, male, age 43, of Kofar Marusa, low cost, Katsina 2, Abbas Haruna alias Dogo Abbas, male, age 34 years, of filling polo contacts, Katsina, and 3 Usman Azan, male, alias Manu, age 50 years, of Ganuwa village, Karachi, local government of Katsina state. Repentant notorious bandits working in collaboration with the Katsina state government and security agencies, Gambo stated. The fact of the matter was that on 11/8/2021, that is 11th of August 2021, at about 11 a.m., the trio went to Damax Forest in Gawa local government with a motor vehicle Toyota Camry, ash in color, with registration number DE 631 LED, attacked a Ada, one Alhaji Gide Sulaiman of Malumfashi local government while grazing his animals, with machete and sticks. They threatened him and his boys that they were from the Office of Special Advisor on Security to His Excellency, with a false allegation that their brother, one Seidu, had robbed one Lawal of his herds, and that they should either produce the Seidu or bring hundreds of cows. After some scuffles, the suspect succeeded in robbing the said Alhaji Gide Suleiman of his 20 cows, valued 7,550,000 naira, 7,550,000 naira, with the intention of taking them to the said Lawal as compensation for his stolen cows, as falsely alleged by them. They also started and robbed them of the sum of 40,000 naira and 4 GSM handsets consequently on 24th of August 2021 at about 7:30 p.m. The same syndicate of Abdullahi Merafi and 3 others attacked the complainant on the same false allegations and attempted to rob him of another set of 20 cows and some sheep, but Nemesis caught up with them when they were rounded up and arrested by the command. In the course of investigation, suspects confessed to the commissions of the offences. The gang leader Abdullahi Merafi confessed to have conspired with the others and sold all the cows at Dankama Market, Keita, local government of the state. 2 cows and the sum of 444,000 naira were recovered as exhibits from their possessions. It may interest you to know that Abdullahi Merafi was notorious bandit who repented and was working with the state government under the office of SA Security, the statement added. Àṣírí ló ń túbọ̀ yìí díẹ̀díẹ̀ àwa ti ń sọ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ páwọn ẹni yóò repent nǹkankan wọn ò rí nǹkankan rárá wọn kàn mọ̀ fẹ́ kí wọ́n wọlé kí wọ́n máa wá jẹun kán sì máa fìyà jẹ ọmọ Nàìjíríà ni ọwọ́ ti wá ń tó wọn díẹ̀díẹ̀ o ọ̀rọ̀ ń bọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀ eégún aláré Yorùbá ní ẹ má mà bá wọn jà o fúnra ara wọn náà máa fúnra wọn lóògùn jẹ ẹ̀rí pórin ni mo mú bẹnu ìdí ni pé mo gbọ́ wípé president wa ọ̀gágun wa tó ti jagun fẹ̀yìntì Muhammadu Buhari wọ́n ní wọ́n sáàkì méjì nínú àwọn mínísítà wọn wọ́n sáàkì minister for works ọ̀rọ̀ náà rèé o Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari has revealed why he sacked 2 of his ministers on Wednesday. Recall that Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday sacked the Minister of Agriculture Muhammadu Sabo Nanono and the Minister of Power Saleh Maman. The President, however, directed the Minister of Environment Muhammad Abubakar to take over the Ministry of Agriculture, while the Minister of State for Works Abubakar Aliyu has been deployed to the Ministry of Power. A statement on Wednesday signed by his spokesman Femi Adesina said the 2 ministers were sacked due to the independent and critical review of their ministries. According to Adesina, the review of the 2 ministers was done through sector reporting during cabinet meetings and at retreats. He revealed that the review had helped to identify and strengthen weak areas, close gaps, build cohesion and synergy in governance, manage the economy and improve the delivery of public goods to Nigerians. The president's spokesperson added that the continuous rigid of the cabinet should be expected until desired objective is met. He said the changes were sequel to the traditions of subjugating our project and programs implementation to independent and critical self-review. These significant review steps have helped to identify and strengthen weak areas, close gaps, build cohesion and synergy in governance, manage the economy and improve the delivery of public goods to Nigerians. Tó ọ̀rọ̀ yìí la gbọ́ yìí o bí wọ́n ṣe ní kí àwọn méjì nínú àwọn mínísítà president, minister for works àti minister for agric wọ́n ní kí àwọn méjèèjì kí wọ́n lọ rọ́kún lé o kí lẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ òun náà ni ẹ ti gbọ́ yìí mo wá fẹ́ ká lọ wo báwo ni Fẹ́mi Adésínà báwo ló ṣe present ọ̀rọ̀ yìí àti báwo ni wọ́n ṣe sáàkì àwọn méjèèjì mò ń padà bọ̀ àti pé lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n sáàkì wọn wọ́n ṣe interview fún ẹnìkan tóun náà sọ tó jẹ́ ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ APC tóun náà sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ sáàkì tí wọ́n sáàkì àwọn ẹni àti pé Fẹ́mi Adésínà jẹ́ kó yé àwọn èèyàn pé nínú Federal Executive Council tá a wà yìí o tá a mọ̀ sí FEC oníkálùkù sì máa retí pé sledgehammer ni wọ́n máa là mọ́ wọn tó kù lórí oko ó ní wọ́n sì máa lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo ń padà bọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ òdùn lẹ́nu mi ẹ̀jẹ̀ á lọ gbọ́n tó wí.
Nothing in the president's strides at the start of the virtual Federal Executive Council meeting gave away what was about to be a new beginning in his administration.
Senior government officials.
8 ministers, including that of Finance, Justice, Aviation, Works and Housing, Humanitarian and Disaster Management, and Sports, attended physically. During the closed-door meeting, and for the first time in 6 years, the president announced the sack of 2 ministers. From the president's speech read by the special advisor to the president, apparently weak areas have been identified.
A few changes marking the beginning of a continuous process have been approved. They are as follows. Ministers leaving the cabinet. 1. Mohammed Sabo Nanono, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. And 2. Engineer Saleh Maman, Minister of Power. Redeployment. 1. Dr. Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar, Minister of Environment, to assume office as the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. 2. Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu, Minister of State, Works and Housing, assumes office as the Minister of Power.
It would be recalled that in September 2019, President Buhari approved a minor cabinet reshuffle with the redeployment of 2 ministers of state. The Minister of State for Niger Delta Affairs, Mr. Festus Keyamo, who was moved to Ministry of Labour and Employment as the Minister of State, and Senator Tayo Alasho-Adura, moved to Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs as Minister of State. There is promise that this shake-up will not be the last.
In due course, substantive nominations will be made to fill the consequential vacancies in accordance with the requirements of the Constitution.
By the same token, the Minister of Humanitarian and Disaster Management gives account of expenditure so far on interventions to frontline states. His council approves memo for a draft national policy on internally displaced persons.
A multi-sectoral structure will fully emerge, which should ensure a coordinated, operational and strategic response to all the humanitarian challenges our great nation is facing.
It does look like this is not the end that we'll be seeing as far as the action of the president is concerned on the issue of cabinet, the performance of the minister, the expectations of Nigerians. Some of the things that are on the minds of the president and perhaps what he's thinking, maybe he's thinking about what some Nigerians are also thinking, and those are the conversations we'll be having for you tonight. I'm being joined tonight here in the studio by Mr. Dominic Alancha. He's a member of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And virtually is Professor Anthony Kila. He will be joining us in a moment. So let's begin the conversation first and foremost with Mr. Alancha. Did you see this coming?
Well, I will say that we saw it coming. We didn't see it coming because it took most of us by surprise. Given the fact that in the last, in his first term, he didn't really reshuffle his cabinet. He didn't ask any of them to leave, to go either on account of poor performance like they have cited in this one, so we did not quite see it coming. It came to us by surprise. But one thing that is a given is the fact that if you've been monitoring the reaction of Nigerians, it's quite a welcome development. Because for us, those that are not performing, Buhari as an individual, as a president, I think he's doing very well. But the cabinet need to be reshuffled. Some of them that are not really performing need to go so that it can rejig, the cabinet with people that can perform. And those that are performing need to be commended. I think that is what he has initiated. And like the essay rightly said, he said it's an initiation of a process that has just been. It's a process that have just been initiated. So we expect that they will look into the cabinet, assess those that have performed, credibly well, and those that have not performed should give way so that people that can move the country forward in terms of, delivering the good governance, the expectations of Nigerians can come on board.
I know you'll be having conversations with your colleagues in the APC and perhaps get a feeling of what they feel about the performance of the government vis-a-vis the thinking and the yearnings of Nigerians and the responses from the populace. The position you have just voiced out today, is it popular amongst the members and the chieftains of the APC?
Yes, Mr. Sheung, it is a popular position in the APC because when you talk of governance, governance is in sector, and agriculture, power is a sector, you understand? If they were doing well, if you look at the agriculture, let me talk about the agriculture. In his first term, you will agree with me that agriculture was taken to the next level. You understand what I'm saying? But in this time, we saw a bit of a snail kind of a movement. There was nothing going on in that ministry. I mean, he was not really performing. That is just the truth. And we anticipated that long ago he would have, asked him to leave. But you see, I believe that relationship was one of the things that was being considered. But again, you won't bring that on board, at the detriment of Nigerians. And again, the man is old. And that is what we, the younger ones, are saying. Those of them that are old, above 60 in the cabinet, should give way. There are a lot of young people within the APC that have the capacity to move Nigeria forward in any capacity you place them, whether as Minister of Power, as Minister of Agriculture, whatever ministry they are given the capacity to head, they are going to deliver credibly well in terms of delivering the expectations of Nigerians. So it's a popular, position within the APC, especially among the younger generation.
Do you have a feeling, as a member of the APC, the ruling party that is, and of course, having this conversation also with your members in the APC, that maybe Nigerians are not happy with your party?
Well, I won't say Nigerians are not happy with my party or with our party.
I'm asking, it's a question. I'm not giving a position.
Yes.
I'm saying, do you have that feeling, or do you feel, do you hear, do you discuss the feelings of Nigerians about your party? Do you think your party is still popular with Nigerians?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that yes, Nigerians are, I won't say that Nigerians are not happy with the party. What I would rather say is that, you see, it's politics, all right? There are some that are happy with the party. There are some that are not happy, but the party is very, very popular as far as Nigerians are concerned. And as far as I'm concerned, we are still very, very popular. But the truth of the matter is, in terms of governance, certain persons within the cabinet and within the government structure really need to give way so that people that can perform. There are a lot of persons within the party that ought to be on board. They drove the campaign. They initiate, certain promises that the APC promised Nigerians. They know how to go about bringing it to reality, but they are not on board. So I think, the president really needs to look at his cabinet, reshuffle it with a view to injecting it with younger generation, with not even younger generation, with people with capacity that can move the nation forward.
But how significant are these two changes?
Well, it's very significant because it gives Nigerians hope that party faithful hopes that, yes, a process has been initiated, a process that will bring about, good governance to the people. And you see, for those that are still in the cabinet, it's an opportunity for them to sit up because, like they stated in the press statement, that is a process that has been initiated. So for those that are not performing, they will need to sit up. For those that are performing, they will need to do more.
So as it is, because the last time the SGF, who was speaking on behalf of the federal government at the time, was saying that, look, there will be a periodic assessment of the work. That was when they were doing the induction for the ministers, that there's going to be a periodic assessment of the ministers, and there's going to be update on report of their performance. I'm not sure if we've seen any of that in about 2 years since the ministers got into office. But going forward, the look and feel of what the cabinet constitutes right now, where the energy is supposed to be, the drivers of the economy, the drivers of the spine of our society, those ministers that are holding those offices will have some pressure under them. So do you think that this sack now will have any effect for anyone to sit up, or it's just going to be the usual game as usual?
I don't think it's going to be the usual game, as usual. It's like I said, it's an opportunity. I face them an opportunity to sit up for those, still in the cabinet. And you see, Mr. Shehu, about periodic review of their performance. If you remember, I think when they were about a year or in this administration, 1 year into this administration, there was a retreat that they went. All the ministers came and presented their scorecard. I think that was what the SGF was referring. But we need to see more of that, either quarterly, you understand, or in 6 months, every six months, there is need to be review of, their performance so that they'll be able to access, what they've been doing. Whether they need to improve on it or not, you understand, it is only such kind of retreat that will avail them the opportunity of bringing, taking stock of this assessment. So I think they are doing that. They did that in the in the first 1 year of the administration, but we've not seen them doing that. Maybe they have plans of doing that.
Let me put you on the spot. Do you think that this government has performed in the last 2 years of the second term?
Yes. They have performed extremely well. But the truth of the matter is that we have challenges in the area of security. You see, the insecurity is making it look as if the government has not performed. But if you go into other areas, there are facts about the performance in terms of infrastructure, in terms of youth employment, you understand? They have performed credibly well. But the security situation in the nation needs to be really looked into, because the security situation is the reason why it's looking as if this government is not performing at all. And security, for me, holds the keys to everything. When there is insecurity, no matter what you are doing, people will see it. But when there is security, at least people will see the other areas that you are doing well.
So if there is no security, whatever you do, does it hold water? Can people appreciate what you are doing if the security is not guaranteed? Don't forget that your party preached and told Nigerians that if you vote for us, we're bringing a general that will fix security. Do you think that Nigerians are disappointed at the moment?
No, Nigerians are not disappointed. I'm a Nigerian. I'm not disappointed. But I'm aware of the fact that security situation in Nigeria today is an emerging challenge. All right? Emerging challenge in a sense that is assuming a global dimension. It's not like it used to be in 2014. It's not like it used to be in 2013. There has been a remarkable improvement in terms of security. But the truth of the matter is that it has assumed a global dimension, and we really need to sit up and do something based on the dimension it has assumed. So for me, I think the government really needs to sit up and then, look into that security area. For example, I mean, Zamfara today have imposed curfew. Look at what is happening in Jos. We are not happy about what is happening in Jos and in Zamfara and other northwest states that there are a lot of insecurity there. But like I said, it's an emerging challenge, and the government really need to sit up. But that is not to say that we have not performed in other sector of the economy.
Like what sector?
I just told you that in terms of employment, in terms of infrastructure, you understand, the government have performed credibly well. Infrastructure it holds the key to the economic prosperity of our country. You understand? Building roads, look at the rail sector, even our airport, our ports. You understand? These are some of the areas that the government have really performed extremely well. And you cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact that security, is deteriorating in some states does not mean that Nigeria as a whole is not secure. But in some areas, there are really lapses that the government really need to look into. And that is the honest truth I see.
We're since being joined by a political analyst, Mr. Jide Ojo. Thank you so much, Mr. Ojo, for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Good evening.
It's a day that the president sacked 2 of his ministers. He has over 40 of them, almost 50.
Yeah.
I asked Mr. Alanche here earlier if he was surprised that the president did that. Are you surprised, Mr. Ojo, that the president sacked 2 of his ministers?
Very surprised.
Why are you surprised?
Because it's not in his tradition. The president happens to be someone who, when he appoints you, he just allows you to do what is expected of you. So it's not somebody that. How do we call it in civil society? It's not somebody that micromanage whoever he appoints. He gives you latitude to do your work, and we saw that in his first time. I never can recall if he ever sacked anybody, except
the person who resigned, and that's former finance minister, over issues of fake.
Amina too also went to
Amina left on her own
yes.
For a bigger appointment at the United Nations. So it's not in its tradition to sack people. And I really, the entire truth has not come out as to why he did that. The agriculture minister and then the minister of power. If something tells me maybe they resigned to pursue political.
No, if they resign, because the statement did not say they resigned. Resignation and sack, they are two different things. They have been relieved of their job. So, but let's look at it. Let's be analytical in this. What is your own assessment of those two ministries? Would you say those ministers have lived up to expectation? Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Power.
But
within the last 2 years.
If you want to go by that, then there should have been more sack than those two.
Maybe that's the ones that are obvious to the president.
Yeah, exactly, because if you go, I mean, all of them will have an excuse of COVID-19 affected our performance and all of that. Minister of Agriculture, he was one that raised dust about you can eat with 30 naira, that you can have a distant meal for 30 naira. And I was like, where does this man live if he thinks so? If he actually sacked them, they must have committed very grievous infraction or offense, which, like I said, is an unfolding story. Maybe investigative journalism will unearth why he could have sacked them. I was just looking at, is there a possibility that some of these, one or two of them, has ambition to be governor, and they just want to, go and start earnest preparation for their gubernatorial ambition and all of that. But if they were actually sacked, we need to know. I read Dikin Femi Adesina's press statement. It was silent on the rationale.
Yeah, but he said that there is a last part of the statement that says that this is a continuing process, and that he will do more. There's more to be done in line with the Constitution. That means we might be seeing more sack or more general reshuffling of the cabinet. But with the President Buhari that you know, Mr. Ojo, can he do a major shake-up? Because I was discussing with my colleagues earlier that this is not a shake-up, this is just a mere...
This is just
a little change.
Yes, cosmetic solutions.
Yeah. 2 out of over 40 is not a shake-up.
2 out of 44.
Yeah, so for me, I'm looking at it holistically. From your own point of view, do you think the President Buhari that you know, at least in the 6 years that he has been president, do you think he can or he will do a major reshuffling of the cabinet?
It's not impossible. Having set this precedent, like I said, there was no precedent that he will sack people. But now that he has begun, and we have been given an inkling that this is an ongoing process, maybe before the end of the year, we may see a couple of months. But I don't think it will be earth-shaking. I don't think, because the point is, next year is going to be devoted to politics, politics of 2023 and all of that. So governance actually, in fairness, we are going to see less than 1 year of governance. By middle of next year, with party primaries approaching and all of that, there will be a lot of distraction to that. But Nigerians are actually looking for that earth-shaking cabinet reshuffle that will impact positively on not only on the economy but on governance. You agree with me? In fact, I've read a number of responses that says mention names of people that should have also been announced. We are not in control of that. But I met you discussing the issue of security. Nigerians are not satisfied with the current state of security. We clamored. I was one of those who clamored for the change of service chiefs. We have had the change of service chiefs, but people are calling for the sack of National Security Advisor, including Chief of Defense, Minister of Defense, and all of that. So rejig our security architecture. And like I said earlier on, it's not only these two people that are so-called inactive in his government. The few ones, and I'm not by any means saying it's only those who have media hypes should be allowed to stay, because you can do a lot of media branding without, it could be more of talk and less of action. People who knows how to cultivate media can, governance by billboard, governance by telephone, governance by media. They can do that, but when it comes to brass tack, something happened, Chim, if you recall, at the beginning of this, when he held the first retreat with his ministers, I think he actually gave them, what is it called? Not terms of reference, but a kind of...
he said that there's going to be periodic assessment.
So we have not seen that assessment in the last 2 years. Maybe we are beginning to see that assessment of, okay, or what are the scope of work you have been given? How have you been able to deliver on it? And that may be. But Nigerians will be just too happy to have some of these people in this cabinet go. Not necessarily because we hate them, but they might have been promoted beyond their competence. If you appoint people into office, maybe issue of rampeg in square hole in rampeg, and you have found that in the last 2 years of your administration that these people have failed to deliver effectively on the mandate that they were given. You have to show them the door and appoint more credible, more intelligent. And then, at the beginning of the appointment of this cabinet, we were talking of other issue of who should be more. Is it politicians, or we should have more technocrats, people with private sector experience, people who are non-politicians, people who can deliver, that we can shop for best of the best across the globe to come and help, because we need a rescue. Nigeria needs rescuing. Somebody, my mentor was telling me on a program this morning that Nigeria is a collapsing state. And if you don't want the house to collapse, you have to do a major intervention. And that's what Nigerians are looking forward to, a kind of governance.
Okay. So let's take a breather, because I was going to ask you, could this be that the president is looking at, I have just about 2 years left, and Nigerians are watching, maybe I should take some actions. I'd like you to weigh in on that when we come back from this break. Plus, the governor of Zamfara State had imposed curfew on 13 local government areas. He has shut all schools because of the attack and the abduction in another school in Maradun local government area. We discuss how we can stop this spate of kidnapping by these ruthless kidnappers named bandits. Join us again after this break, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight on the program. Mr. Jide Ojo, political analyst, and Mr. Dominic Alanja is a member of the APC. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time tonight, especially discussing what the president has done today and what is happening in Zamfara State. I'm also being joined tonight by Professor Anthony Kila. He's a development expert. He joins us virtually. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us. It's good to see you. Okay, I understand that in a moment we will be able to see him, but let's come back here in the Abuja studio. I was going to ask if there was perhaps a thinking behind the decision of the president today to say, look, 2023 is around the corner. I need to tell Nigerians that we are going to do something, or we are doing something. Could that be one of the reasons? Let me begin with you, Mr. Alanja.
Well,
could it be one of the reasons?
It could be, it could not. But for me, I think it's time for him to really sit up and rejig his cabinet, because these last 2 years has really exposed the inadequacies in some of these ministers. And the truth of the matter is he alone cannot do without these cabinet members complementing him. So it's a decision that he really has to take. And for us, there is hope because, like they said, it's a beginning of a process. I am expecting that there will be a major reshufflement. If it will help us as
a party. So you are disappointed in these two? You thought that it would be like 20 or 15 or even 30?
To be honest, I'm expecting that at least it should be more than 10 if they are going to do an announcement, like this. It should be.
And you remember, interestingly, he's a member of
yes,
the APC.
Yes.
Yeah, but they are also Nigerians.
We are also
Absolutely.
Nigerians. That is it.
But let me, if I can weigh in on this.
Yeah.
The president recently, through his said he doesn't want to end up as a failure.
Yeah.
This is the statement. He's telling us that he's hearing us, he's feeling our pulse, he's listening to us, and he's ready to do some of the things that he's been asked to do. And don't forget, he receives counsel even from former presidents, from former security chiefs, and he has a wide range of people giving him good counsel on how you could do things better. Nigeria voted for him because we trusted him. And that trust should not be betrayed. The current situation is suboptimal. In my own estimation, this is personal opinion, I don't belong to any political party, it's suboptimal because we know what we can do.
What is obtainable?
What is obtainable
and what we're saying.
In terms of human capital development, Nigeria has it. We have the best. You can attract Nigerians in diaspora. Even if you ask Mrs. Abika Dabiri to set up a committee to harvest for you 10 Nigerians in diaspora that can help rejig this administration, she will do that. Within a month, we'll have the kind of cabinet that everybody will be, not necessarily politicians. Politicians will want to be politically correct. They don't want to rock the boat. They want to do things to satisfy the party interest. But we are talking of having people who have the competence, who have the requisite skill set to turn things around.
What about those who have the track record? Because a lot of people that are in politics, sometimes we don't see some people who can show us their track record of what they've done for themselves in their private lives. But let me bring in Professor Kila. I understand that he has since joined us. Thank you, Prof. If you can hear me. The question I asked my guest here in Abuja studio is that are they surprised about the president's decision to sack 2 ministers? Oh, goodness again. I understand now that Prof cannot hear us, but we try as much as possible to ensure that he can hear us, and as soon as he can, we will connect Professor Anthony Kila to join in the conversation. So the question I was raising earlier is, the issue I was raising earlier was about track record, because anybody who is going into the public space must be able to show that this is what I've done for myself, not just because you've named yourself as a politician, but if you have done it in your private life, that's a proof that you can do it in the public life, isn't it?
Well, that's the working on an assumption. But I do know, after every election, there's what is called political debt. You are owing a lot of people. Even my brother Dominic, as he is a member of APC, the expectation, there is what is called pork barrel politics. Pork barrel politics is rub my back, I rub your back. If I gonna vote for you, I help you to win election. These appointments are based on nominations. And who are the people making the nominations? They are you and I. There are people in power, in corridors of power. People like governors, elder statesmen, maybe former presidents. They are the one that nominates cabinet ministers. This man gave us 5 million when we were doing the elections. We need to reward him. It's a reward system. That's why it's called pork barrel politics. It's rub my back, I rub your back, or as they said in local parlance, money for hand, back for grant. So if I help you to win election, the expectation is that I will have a reward from being appointed ministers to board chairmanship or board membership, to heading MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. That's the reward system we're talking about. And when you go through that route, you don't look at the competence level at all. It's based on who is nominating who. I'm sure that if you, with your clout now, I'm not denigrating that you are not competent, but do you know that you will likely, most unlikely, find your way into cabinet if somebody is not nominating you to say, here is my protege, or here is somebody I trust could do the job, even when you have the skill set, somebody must nominate you. And this nomination sometimes has to do with faithfulness and loyalty to the party. You understand? More than what you have achieved in your private life or in your public life. And
well, I mean, I raised that because isn't that what we should be asking of politicians? I mean, if we see someone who, we should be convinced, because politicians are supposed to go into public service to serve. The people who are being served should be able to have a say in those who are going to serve them. So the question is that if we see people we know that their competence is not up to par with the responsibility they are going to be given. I remember when the nominations came, a lot of accolades were given to some of the names we saw on the cabinet, you know, and Nigerians know what they want. Nigerians know quality when they see one. And that's why I'm saying that shouldn't we have a say as a people when we see that people are being nominated into office, isn't it?
Yeah, we should have a say. Now, you see, we in the APC, there are some of us that believes in progressive politics, all right? And we believe that merit should count. We believe that track record should count. We believe that competence should count. And that is why I'm having hope that at this point, it shouldn't just be about political patronage or reward for working or for something like that at the detriment of competence, at the detriment of merit and all of that, you know. So it should be about all of that. We should be able to aggregate all of that and then give this appointment, because the people that appoint you, the moment you become the leader, either the president, the governor, it's not about your party, it's about Nigeria. It's about delivering good governance to them. And you see, Shehu, the challenges facing us in Nigeria is not insurmountable. They are all surmountable. It's just getting the right people on board to drive the process, all right? And this present minister, a lot of them lacks the capacity. And that is why Mr. President is struggling. It looks as if he's not doing the best. You understand? Meanwhile, he's doing his best as an individual. And they need to compliment him. But the hope I'm having is that, and Mr. President, thankfully, is a listening president. He is listening to us. Those that are advising him, the kitchen cabinet, members, they are listening. They should advise him. These people, this vacancy now that has presented itself, the people that should replace them, and people that will go. At the end of the day, the people that should replace them, let competence, let capacity, let merit, let track record be part of those things that will bring them on board.
Èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí nínú kábínẹ̀tì ọ̀gágun Buhari, òun náà là ń wò yìí. Ǹjẹ́ a rántí wípé fún odindi first tenure tó kọ́kọ́ lò ní 2015 sí 2019, wọn ò yí ẹnìkan yípo ẹnikẹ́ni padà títí wá di àná òde yìí, wọn ò yípo ẹnikẹ́ni padà náà nígbà tí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ second term yìí. Àmọ́ tó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ó yani lẹ́nu. Kódà yìí náà wò nú fídíò yẹn bí tán ti sọ pé kọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ tún máa retí sí o, wípọ́n tó sì máa lé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ á máa wo kí ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀. Fúnra wọn náà ni kí wọ́n máa fúnra wọn lóògùn jẹ. Ó di dandan káwa ó gbé bí wọ́n bá ti ṣe ń ṣe. A kó àmójúlọ́nà, a kó àfojúsọ́nà 1 million march tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ní United Nations House, níwájú United Nations látọ̀n the 14 láti ọjọ́ 14. Tó oníyanṣẹ́ ọlọ́kàṣe gbogbo àwa tí a bá wa jẹ tèní, a kú ìrìn látàárọ̀, a kú ìjókòó, gbogbo ojú tó wo ètò yìí pátápátá mo ṣe ládùúrà àkójú náà ò ní fọ́ o, etí tẹ̀sí fi gbọ́ mi ò ní di. Ẹ ṣeun ẹ kú fọmọnìyàn ṣe látàárọ̀. Mo wá bẹ̀yìn lẹ́bẹ̀ kan, tí ìwọ bá sì wà nínú ètò yìí tó ń wò ó, tó jẹ́ kó kàn wá wò kó máa lọ ni, tí o ò tí bá wa subscribe tó bá jórí YouTube ló ti ń wò ó, ṣe wo bí tí wọ́n kọ subscribe sí, kó o bá wa tẹ̀ ẹ́, kó o tẹ̀ ẹ́ nìkan kọ́, ibi tí wọ́n fi àmì aago sí, kó o tẹ̀ yẹn náà. Tó bá ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, ìgbàkígbà tí n bá tún ti ṣe fídíò síta, wọ́n wá gbé notification yẹn fún ẹ pé Bàbá Gbàgede Ìmọ̀ ó tún ti ṣe fídíò síta o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń wò lórí Facebook, tí ẹ kàn máa wò tẹ́ máa kúrò ń bẹ̀, tẹ́ ẹ tí join wa, tẹ́ ẹ bá wò tó dá yín lójú wípé inú péèjì gbàgede ìmọ̀ with Aláwìyé Báyọ̀ lẹ́wà ẹ ṣáà wò ẹ wo táìtù tán kọ sí lókè tó bá ti yàtọ̀ sí gbàgede ìmọ̀ with Aláwìyé Báyọ̀ ẹ rọra jáde kó ń bẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá ti fọ́lò péèjì yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ yọ̀ra yín kó ń bẹ̀ torí pé àwọn tó ń jíṣẹ́ mi gbé ni àmọ́ tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ wo orí òkè tí wọ́n kọ sí ẹ wò pé gbàgede ìmọ̀ with Aláwìyé Báyọ̀ ni ẹ mọ̀ pé péèjì mi gangan lẹ́wà ibi tí wọ́n kọ fọ́lò sí yẹn ẹ fọ́lò ẹ̀ kájọ kọ́mọ lùbọ́ ẹ tún wá lọ sórí YouTube ẹ sá lọ sáàchì fún bàbá gbàgede live ó la fi rẹ́gísítà channel yẹn bàbá gbàgede live tẹ́ bá ti sáàchì fún agbẹ̀yìn lọ́nu channel sá kílíkì subscribe síbẹ̀ gbogbo fídíò wa náà lẹ́ máa wò oníyanṣẹ́ ọlọ́kà ṣe lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí gbogbo ojú tẹ́ fi wò mí yóò ní fọ́ o etí tẹ́ sì fi gbọ́ mi ò ní di títí tó tún fi mẹ́tò mi wà lọ́la lágbára Ọlọ́run èmi Aláwìyé Adébáyọ̀ Sàbúrì ọmọ bàbá tíṣà lábẹ́kúta bàbá gbàgede ìmọ̀ ló sọ fún wa pé láyọ̀ o.